I'm Carla Martinez, and today I'm doing my informative speech presentation on the causes of Black September. My audience today are my parents and my younger brother. In 1950, King Abdullah I of Jordan decided to annex the West Bank of the Jordan River, what is now known today as the West Bank of Palestine. When he did so, it caused a lot of tension domestically within Jordan, as well as backlash internationally. Domestically, Palestinians now became 2/3 of the population after he granted them all citizenship, and he granted them half of his parliament. Internationally, the other Arab states saw this as simply land grabbing, just greediness. However, domestically, this didn't create major tensions for about 14 years, as there was no real difference between Jordanians and Palestinians legally or in any meaningful aspect. This changed in 1964 when the Arab League established the Palestine Liberation Organization. The PLO began basing itself along bases around the West Bank along the border and launching raids to which Israel would respond violently. This created cross-border raids that Jordan did not enjoy, but could not crack down on, or they would be seen as traitors to the Arab cause. This began tensions between them, but as this was not impacting Jordan proper, it was considered irrelevant until 1967, when Jordan no longer controlled the West Bank after Israel conquered it during the Six-Day War. This caused the PLO to move to Jordan and begin starting the raids from there. The result of this was massive tensions caused by three major issues. Major ideological differences between the PLO and the Jordanian government, major differences in the approach to Israel between the PLO and Jordan, and foreign intervention and meddling by other Arab states. Firstly, while the PLO was not initially established as a political organization, in 1968, according to Israeli historian Mesh Shemesh, the Fatah organization, which was heavily socialist, became the de facto leaders of the PLO and converted it into a socialist organization. The PLO, after that, began advocating for a socialist Republic of Palestine, along with the eradication of Israel and the removal of all Israelis. In contrast to that, the Jordanian government was a conservative Islamic monarchy that was not a fan of republics and preferred to keep their king. The other major difference here was support for Pan-Arabism. During this era of the Cold War, Pan-Arabism was a major ideology that advocated the unification of all Arab states. While the PLO was heavily supportive of this, Jordan was not. They had advocated a nationalist monarchy that was inherently opposed to the concept of the Pan-Arab movement. This caused major tensions as the PLO would advocate for the Pan-Arab movement, not just for Palestinians, but in Jordan, contrary to what the Jordanian government wished them to do. The second major point concerned relations with Israel. Jordan was famously relatively friendly with Israel compared to the other Arab states. They would share intelligence. Jordan would regularly try to crack down on cross-border raids. They would cooperate when the time was needed. They would sign ceasefires and armistices. In contrast to that, the PLO advocated for a total war approach to Israel. No peace, no mercy, no negotiation. They wanted violence and raids and destruction. And when Jordan was hesitant to support them in this, it created major tensions, especially as the PLO began suspecting that Jordan would sign an agreement with Israel, recognizing the Israeli independence in return for the return of the West Bank. The third major point of contention concerned foreign meddling. In the years between 1948 and 1970, when the Black September crisis began, 4 Arab monarchies have been overthrown: Egypt, Tunisia, Iraq, and Libya. The most concerning of these to Jordan was the 1958 removal of King Faisal II of Iraq, who was the newly coronated King of Jordan's cousin and a close friend. While there was initially no fear of this happening to Jordan, it still worried the king greatly, and he began to fear that the PLO would be the vanguard of a socialist uprising in his country and overthrow his government. This was exacerbated by the other Arab states aiding Jordan, theoretically in the name of supporting the PLO indirectly. Jordan received major subsidies from Libya, Iraq, and Syria. Egypt and Syria, I apologize. And whenever Jordan would try to crack down on PLO activities that considered detrimental to their government, these states would threaten to withdraw foreign aid, which Jordanian government needed to survive. Eventually, Jordan began to worry that support for the PLO was simply a mask to some ulterior pan-Arabist plot to overthrow the Jordanian monarchy and establish a socialist republic in Jordan. This was eventually justified when, during the Black September crisis, Syrian army troops attempted to march on Amman, but that quickly ended. In conclusion, the Black September crisis was primarily started and instigated by three major points of major ideological differences between Jordan and the PLO, a very different approach between the PLO and Jordan in terms of policy towards Israel, and foreign intervention and meddling by other pan-Arab and socialist states in the region. Thank you.